Hey everyone, this is a demonstration video for an app that I developed called Spectra Lab. And what Spectra Lab allows you to do is to collect spectroscopic data from an ocean optic spectrometer through your 10.1-inch tablet using Android 3.1 or higher, and of course using a full-sized USB 2.0 port on the side of your tablet. So with that said, let's jump right into the app. It'll take you to the connection screen where you can connect to the spectrometer, hit connect. The app will ask you for access to the USB, hit OK. And it'll take you to one of the main screens here, which is the Spectral Graphs tab. There is a graphing area here on the right, wavelength and intensity, and a control panel here on the left that shows the model and serial number, the connection status, the integration time that's set by default, a box to set your own integration time, a button to acquire the spectra called Get Spectra, a hide button which will hide all the data that's on the graph here on the right, a save session button which will allow you to save your acquisitions to text files, and of course a disconnect button. So let's get some spectra. As you can see, every acquisition has its own color associated with it, and a legend here at the bottom that gives you the name of the acquisition and the color as well. One of the nice things about the graph is that you can zoom in on the data to view it in greater detail. You can also zoom out. Next we have the Acquisitions List tab. That'll show you the acquisitions that you've made thus far in a list format. It has the color associated with the acquisition, the name, a hide option to hide that particular set of data from the graph, delete option, view data to view the data in a tabulated format here on the right, and of course a rename button to allow you to rename that particular acquisition to something else. So let's look at the view data. And you see here on the right you have wavelength and intensity in the data in a tabulated format that you can scroll through. We also have a references tab. References allow you to take light and dark references for transmission, absorption, and reflectance measurements. So we can take a light reference here, take a dark reference, and there's a little graphing area here on the bottom that allows you to view the signal that you collected for your references, and this is also an area where you can zoom in and zoom out on the data. And you have the same options you do under the acquisitions list to hide, delete, view the tabulated data, and the ability to rename the light reference to something else, or the dark reference. So we'll hit view data, and again, same format that you can scroll through. You have your wavelengths and intensity here. Next is your options tab. Here you have the hardware configuration. That's the hardware configuration of the spectrometer that's currently connected. Model number, serial number, the configuration from the factory, your wavelength calibration coefficients, and your nonlinearity correction coefficients. Here we have your acquisition mode options. You can choose between raw absorption, or absorbance rather, and transmission and reflectance modes. Signal options where you can correct for nonlinearity, and also adjust for the number of spectra you want to average. It's currently set at 1, but you can set it to a higher value. Some graph options, data options here allow you to delete all your acquisitions in one fell swoop instead of having to go through each one discreetly if you've collected a large set of data that you no longer want, you just hit the check to activate box, and then you can delete all your acquisitions by pressing the button up top. And last, you have your save options. That allows you to apply your own save name to the acquisitions from the spectrometer. And all you have to do is hit the enable checkbox and give it a appropriate save name that you want. So let's go back to the Spectrographs tab. We can also change spectrometers here on the fly. This is a HR4000. So if we disconnect that and we plug in a USB 4000, the system will prompt us that the spectrometer has been disconnected. Do we want to reconnect? Yes. And allow it to use the USB. Hit OK. And as you can see, the model and the serial number changes, as well as on the Options tab, your hardware configuration also changes. So let's go back to the Spectrographs tab. Reconnect the HR2000 or the HR4000. Hit reconnect. Hit OK to use the USB, and we're back to the HR4000. So let's save the data we've collected so far. We'll hit Save Session. It'll ask us for a save name file or a folder name. So we'll name it Test 2. Hit Save. The system will save all the acquisitions to text files. And then we'll hit Disconnect. Yes, we want to disconnect. And then we'll hit Exit. Going back to the app screen, the files in this case are under File Manager. They might be under My Files or some other icon name on your tablet. So we go to the File Manager. We look for a folder called Spectra Lab. There it is, Spectra Lab. Look for the folder name. We call it Test 2. So there's Test 2. And here we have all our acquisitions in text format, our light references, our dark references, and our hardware configuration file. So let's open up one of the acquisition files, raw0.txt. Use the HTML viewer, and here you can see you have obviously the title of the acquisition, timestamp, the manufacturer and model of the spectrometer, the serial number, the integration time that was used at the time of acquisition, the number of averages that were used at the time of acquisition, the mode you were in, and of course whether or not you applied the nonlinear correction. You see down here we have our wavelengths and our intensities. Might be a little hard to see. They are comma separated so that you can import them into an Excel spreadsheet or MATLAB or any other program relatively easily. Of course, you can scroll through the data here. That about sums it up. The app is available in the Android Marketplace. I also have a website called www.mobilecontrolsoft.com. And thank you for watching.